All right, everybody, good evening. All right, so we are back tonight for round number 2 and hopefully to finish Monochrome Reflections. Okay, what I'm going to do real quick, I have the paint in my palette. I'm going to turn off my direct overhead light. It may not make a whole lot of difference for you, I hope. Yeah, okay, that's better because it helps me a little bit with the reflections. Okay, let's get set here tonight. Okay, in my palette again, just as a reminder, I've got titanium white, I've got gray sky and gray fox. I will be using only the tool sizes. Actually, I've got my Happy Dotting Company tools over on this side here. I've got everything from the 0.5 just up to the 6. Those are the only ones that I have laid out. And then my swooshing tool, we're going to be using quite a bit of that tonight. All right, so this is where we left off yesterday. Okay, let me get you guys right side up. Okay, now I do have a set of instructions. Like I said, I'm deviating a little tiny bit here and there just from the original, just because every time you do it, no matter what instructions you have, it seems a little bit different. Where do I want to go to start? All right, get my water open here. I got to take a quick look. So we did these ones. Okay, we are here. We did the walks. We did not do the micro dots, and that's okay. We have not done the crowns. That's okay. But let's do the swooshes. All right. Okay. I'm going to go into a 6. And on the original, I think we started with the light gray. So I'll go ahead and continue with that. What I'm going to do, I call these the crowns, these little 3 dots here, and we're going to be making a series of swooshes that go in between each of these sets of walked dots. Oh, hey, Darlene. Didn't even see you there. Yeah. I completely get it. It's late here too. But no, yeah, it'll be posted later. So even if you can't hang around right now, that's okay. Just catch me later. No problem. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi no matter what. Okay, no matter what, I'm gonna try to get as much done. I want to finish this tonight. I really do. Usually it doesn't take me more than 2 sessions. Okay, so we're gonna go into 6. All right, let's start here. I sort of want to be right near the top of these others. Let's go out just a smidge more. Okay, for the very first one, I'm going to double dip here. Make sure I have enough on my palette. Going to go into the sharp end. Now all of this is completely dry. This is 24 hours dry. So that's the only reason that I'm actually putting my hands in it. Like I said, I'm deviating from the original just a little bit. In the original, the swooshes that I did were much, much thinner. But I think I wanted to fill the space up slightly more. Gonna leave them a little thicker, and then I might even add an additional swoosh that wasn't there before. Well, I'm glad you enjoy them. This is such a fun process for me, and I'm so glad that somebody else gets some enjoyment out of just hanging out and watching them. I might start to record even a little bit more of the process, more of the prep and finish. We'll see how that goes. People actually like it. I want to watch that, or it might be even something that might be more suited to do live instead of recorded. Just because obviously sometimes, you know, sealing works and stuff isn't all that fascinating, and it might take a little while. So it might be nice just to have a little chat on the side or something, just kind of be able to hang out instead of watch something recorded. I don't know. The other thing I need to get working on is I had intended originally when I signed up for the craft fair this year that I wanted to kind of walk everybody through the process, because I've been really, really nervous about doing it. And I didn't know if I was going to be 100% prepared. And so I did want to record or kind of take everybody along on that journey too, and kind of from start to finish. And then I realized, oh my God, it's a little bit overwhelming. Not necessarily that it's been all that stressful other than this last week. But I really haven't gotten anything recorded. So I'm gonna get into that probably this weekend likely. Just kind of go over what I've had to do, what I've purchased, just kind of the prep to it all. And then I don't know if they're going to allow any recording. It is my first show. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to actually do or allow any live recording or not. Probably behind the booth. I can't imagine they wouldn't, but I do want to try to at least get a little bit of footage while I'm there. And this one is real local. I mean, it's quite literally like less than a mile from my home. So it's really going to be fun. I'm really, really, really excited for it. Really nervous. And I was trying to get ready. I've been really trying to prep stuff. And I thought I was ready. And I thought, okay, I've got all the preliminary stuff done. And I'm going to go ahead and just focus purely on the work and try to get a good stock in. And I've been just cranking stuff out like crazy. And then October 1st hit, and I told myself October 1st comes and I'm going to focus on all the rest. I'm going to make sure that everything else is tidied up. You know, I'm going to start pricing. I'm going to start packaging stuff, you know, the other stuff. And October 1st hit the other day and I was like, oh crap. I seriously had a moment. I just had a serious freak out when I realized there was a couple of things that I hadn't expected. So, and my October just got really, really busy. So it's going to be something I'm going to laugh at here in a minute, but not yet. Yes, this is a 5. I went down to a 5. It is Saturday, November 2nd. It's just going to be a one-day show. Like I said, it's city local. I think it's something like from 9 to 3:30 or 9 to 4, something like that. There should be I think they said 65 vendors in total. It'll be indoor. And thank you so much. I could use all the luck and all the thoughts. I was trying not to rope my husband into it. He's not that kind of guy. He supports what I do wholeheartedly, and he really does. He actually finds me stuff to paint, and he's the idea man, right? And he's so good at it. But this is my thing. You know, he's got his own things, and I didn't really want to rope him in. And it seems like every single day he gets more and more involved. So I'm sure, even though he's told me like 1,200 times already that he's like, nope, I'm not going to be there. I don't really want to. Not that he doesn't want to help, but he's just not, he doesn't like the idea of just standing around and talking to people or try to sell things or whatever. And I'm like, that is totally fine. And I have friends local here that are going to help me out and stuff. But I can guarantee you he's going to be there. Yeah, I'm hoping so. It is a holiday craft show, holiday vendor stuff. The funny thing is, I bet that a bunch of the stuff and the vendors that are going to be there are going to have Christmas stuff, Christmas or their holiday. And nothing that I have really is themed at all, except for ornaments. I do have the huge set of ornaments that I made last year around November, December. I made the clear acrylic ornaments. But honestly, that's it. That's like the only thing that I have that's themed. I mean, the stuff that I'm making, I think, is going to be good for gifting, especially all the tea lights. I think those will be good gifts. But that's it. Yeah. So you haven't done one, but that you've heard from others that the first one is a learning lesson and the item's $25 and less are your best. Yeah, you know, I've kind of heard that too, and I've heard that you kind of want to make sure you know, you have a lot of stock and you have stuff that you can produce and sell quickly. So that's sort of, I have bookmarks and the tea lights. So I think that'll be in that price range. I think that should work. The other thing is the little bugs, the little ladybugs that I was doing. And I only started those because initially I didn't have the exact ratio for my tea lights for the molds. And so I always had a little bit of extra casting powder and stuff left over. And so I started doing the ladybugs. But I think I'm going to take a bunch of those with me on purpose and sell those too. So if nothing else, you know, maybe I'll get rid of some ladybugs, right? I mean, it would be really, really nice to sell a bunch of stuff, but you know, if you don't, you don't. Right? Like you said, it is an experience. It's more about learning, figuring it out, making sure you have everything you need. And then just taking that on to the next one. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's get that tool wiped off. Now, like I said, on the original one, these swooshes were quite a bit thinner. But then how many did I have? 3. I actually had 3 walked dots here. So now I have a decision to make. I can either follow the original and do another set of walked dots to fill in the extra space, or I can do another swoosh. If you guys have a preference, give me a quick yell. Thanks. Yeah, the ladybugs. Oh, you made so. Oh, that's cool. You should. Oh man, I want to see those. Yeah. I had, the magnet idea is such a good one too, and the ladybugs, because they're basically just the paint wells, so they do have a flat back. And my husband suggested that too. Like I said, he's the idea man, right? He has all the great ideas for stuff. And he suggested that too, but I just haven't been able to find really good flat magnets, because the ones that I've found that were a good size for the back that would hold them up, because they're like a cement, right? So they're not super light. They were really thick, and I just felt that those were gonna be really weird, that they were gonna make the bugs stick out too much. So yep, I think you're right. The swoosh will fill in more space. I could do both, because if I put another swoosh here, that will still fit. I can do a nice small one, and then you know what, that might work. That might work, because I need to extend out a little too. Let's see. I think that's going to be a 5. Yeah, that's going to be a 5. Okay. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the dark gray. Let's do a 5. On the original, I also have a set of, pardon me, I have a set of little micro dots that go around these. I should be able to include that too. That wasn't quite enough paint there. Woo. Okay. One of these days I've got to get rid of the rest of this apple barrel paint. Oh my gosh. I still use the apple barrel paint a lot for backgrounds. I found that, like, for example, on my tea lights and some of the other things, it really makes good background stuff. It really makes a good base. I have no problems painting it on as a base. Yeah. But for the dots, even still, I have the gloss medium in here, and yet still, it's just, it clumps up. Okay, give that another quick stir. All right, I'm gonna go down to a 4, and I'm gonna do this one in I'm gonna do this one in pieces. One sec. Get a bit of water. Okay. Okay, let's be careful here. All right, that's going to overlap, and I'm just going to deal with it. Might come back to that. Yeah, Craft Smart paint though, you know, I don't like it very much either. However, I do have to say that in a lot of ways it's better than the Apple Barrel. And I know Apple Barrel, they're technically made by the same company as the Decor, right? It's just their cheaper one. But I guess it's just that the Apple Barrel is so heat sensitive. At least that's what I think. I could be completely off on that, and it might be something else. But from what I know, the paint will kind of do that, get real stringy and kind of clumpy. Like, for example, if it's gotten too cold or too warm. And I know when I first ordered it, like one of the very first paints that I ever ordered, it was a set of the Apple Barrel that I purchased online, and I had them shipped to me direct. And it was during the winter, right? And I was thinking, oh my God, it probably froze in the trucks or sitting outside my door or whatever. And so I contacted them and I said, hey, it's really stringy. What can I do? And they're like, oh, we'll replace it for you. And they just sent me a whole new set, which was great. And so, you know, when I got the new set, it was fine. I had absolutely no problems. It was good until, I don't know, maybe about 3 or 4 months later. And then all of it was the same again. It was clumpy and stringy. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to get rid of it. A lot of the original paint that I used, I just gave it to my daughter. I mean, I just let her craft and have fun with it. I just hate wasting stuff. I hate seeing stuff get tossed. That was one of the reasons originally that I bought this stuff, the gloss medium, because, you know, for this kind of art, especially since it's going to be finished, it's going to have a seal on top. There's really not a point in having something gloss finished. It doesn't make all that much difference. So that's why I originally bought it, because it does loosen that up. It does work pretty good. But yeah, whatever. Yeah. Oh, and this is a 2.5. I think I forgot to mention. Yeah, but Craft Smart, it's a little thicker. They're multi-surface. But it's okay. It's not bad. It's not like a super thick kind of funky mess. Yeah. That was one of the reasons too that I wanted to stay with Craft Smart and Plaid as a company. I like the fact that they offered to replace it, that I didn't have to ask for it, and they were really responsive too. I had asked some other questions, you know, like their metallic paint. When I initially purchased the metallic paint, I did really want to use it for oven curing some glass. And there's nothing on that particular packaging for their metallics that indicated if you could do that. And so I reached out to them, and yeah, they were very responsive. They gave very nice, long, detailed answers. So yeah, I'm impressed with Plaid as a company as far as their customer service is concerned. It's just that the Apple Barrel paints themselves, I like I said, I think it's just that they're a lot more temperature sensitive. Yeah. The other one that I'm starting to kind of work with a little bit more, just because of the colors, is Folk Art. There are some of their colors that I just can't find anywhere else, and I'll be honest, I'm lazy when it comes to mixing paints. I don't know. I feel like there's every single time that I've mixed paints for a project, and that particular project will then just so happen to take me 3 or 4 sessions to do. And I never mix enough paint, and then I'm mixing it 3 times, and it's just easier to go ahead and grab a bottle. So yeah, that's just me purely being lazy. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I could do a better job. I'm lazy. So yeah, there's several colors that they offer that I really, really liked and just couldn't find between the other brands. Oh, the Patel, yeah. I have not tried that yet, actually. One of the reasons I started out with the Liquitex, the fluid medium, was just because of the price point at the time. It was, it happened to be cheaper because I caught it on sale. Where was it at? It was like Hobby Lobby or something at the time. And it just happened to be cheaper, and it's worked. And so I stuck with it. You know, why change something that's working? Okay, I've grabbed my 0.5, and these are the little micro dots that I'm adding here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Darlene. All of their all the folk art ones that I've done too, they're really thick. Really beautiful colors, but yeah, I have to thin them. Every single one of them. Now, the original one, I actually had some gemstones, some teardrop, and some circular ones. I'm not going to add that to this piece. I still haven't decided. I think that the piece looks fine with them, but then again, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's a little, as my husband calls it, it's kitsch. And especially since I'm duplicating this piece specifically as a sale item, I think I'm going to leave it off. I just think it'll probably be more saleable without it. I put gems on my other piece, on the other black canvas that I did with the moon, and had those draping down. That one though was a little more fun, a little bit more loose, probably a little bit more kid friendly. I don't know. It's not like a professional work, that one. So, okay, let's see. Now, let's look at swoosh size here. 3 is going to be a little big. 2 will work. No. Okay. Since these are all kind of thick, my first thought, and I grabbed the white nail art tool, is because I do have a 2 there, and the swooshes are really nice, but they're going to be kind of thinner than if I use the same size 2 tool in the flathead, and I think I want to keep it consistent, so I'm just going to use that. And this one's going to be it's going to be the dark if I go in order, but I think I want to do the light because I don't want the dark here and then here as well. I'd rather stay with the light. Yes, let's do that. Double dip that first one. I like that. Hopefully I'm not too much in the way. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me, Darlene. I appreciate it. I certainly will. I've got a bunch of stuff to get done before the fair, so you'll see a ton of videos still coming out every few days. So, but again, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you next time. Have a good night. We are getting closer to the end. Basically, I've just got one more large element to finish this one off. The funnest part. One of these days, my hand is going to go into the paint here. But as long as I got my pinky, keep myself held up here. One of these days, I might invest in the little art, what are they called? An art bridge? I'm pretty sure that's what that's called. Essentially, it's just a little piece of wood or acrylic that sits a little bit above whatever you're doing. So you have a rest. I typically pause my works about an hour, hour and a half. I usually don't work beyond that anyways, just because the paint starts to dry out, give my eyes a rest. Just like in this case, you know, I have a place to then land on. My paint is dry. But I'm sure that, you know, for larger pieces, there's going to be times that that would come in really, really handy. I think especially for people that are doing this, that maybe have an unsteady hand, that would be excellent. Okay. All right. I like it. Now then, let's clean my tool off. Get a drink of water here real quick. Now, I've got two larger pieces here. I am going to need spacer dot. We're going to do this dark. This is a 3. Okay. Then I'm going to go to a 6. Going to get that almost touching. Now, I'm only going to be doing these outward edges here. There. And we're going to start at 2.5. Need something a little bigger. Whoops. I'm going to move this one. I don't know if you can see that. It looks slightly off. I don't know how I did that, but I'm just going to move this off so I can scoot it over. Put that away. Make sure that's dry. Definitely do not want to put paint on it while it's wet. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I don't know. I think that's okay. All right, back to what I was doing. 2.5 in the white. Okay. And we're going to go down to a 2. Now we're going to go to 3.5. And a 3. And a 1.5 to finish this one. Anything above a 3 size tool, I kind of like to do the walked dots in sections. Okay. And then let's do one more. Let's go up again to a 4.5, and we'll be in the dark on that. Okay. Same thing, gonna go in with 4 3 dots. Whoop. Gonna come back to this one a second. There. And that's a 2.5 to finish. Now, let's see. Let's do 4.5, I think. Let's see. My original seems like larger than that, but the notes that I have insist that it's a 4.5, but I think I'm gonna go with a 5. And let's do that right here. Okay. Tool handy. Now this is going to go on top. I do have a line here. I don't even know if you can see that. But I'm going to put it just kind of at the top here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to get a double dip. All right, now I'm going to make a swoosh. Down 1, 2, 3 of these. So this is going to end here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll push my canvas up just a little. Okay. Flip that and do the same here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, clean my tool off. That was a 5. I'm going to go down to a 4.5. And then essentially what I'm going to do is a step down. Okay, so I'm going to put this next one. If you look at the dots here, the space between this dot and this one, I'm going to pull this over here. And that's where this one is going to sit. Going to double dip that one. There we go. And then it is going to be drugged down to here. 1 dot further than this one. There. All right, same process here. Real nice heavy dot up here. And again, I have finished this canvas. I put a clear glaze on this as a prep. So that's why the paint actually moves. Yeah. Highly recommend doing that on anything that you're going to be doing a bunch of swooshes on, because otherwise it's not impossible. It really isn't, but holy cow, it's a lot more difficult. Okay, so we're going to do again the same, and I'm just dropping down into a 4. Okay, I'm going to take that one here. And I'll probably come back in and do a little bit of touch up here along this edge, because I see for this one, it's spread just a little far and I can almost see through it. So yeah, I see that. Maybe 3.5. Especially this one. So this third one is almost straight down. This one's kind of curving back a little bit. Actually, I could probably there. Just follow the line, the curve of these walked dots. Okay. 3.5. So let's go down to a 3. We're getting there. Okay, 2.5. I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. This is the last one that I had in the original, and yeah, I think that's going to be nice. Okay, so let's get this one. I'm going to put it just a smidge lower. Perfect. Okay, let me get this wiped off, and then I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of touch up here. All right, I'm going to use the opposite side of my swoosh tool, the 1.5 end, and I'm just going to load that here. Just these edges, for whatever reason, came out real light. That's better. Do these. And I'm just barely touching anything. Much better. Much better. Oh, you know what? As I'm looking at this, wow, if I could talk. Not sure why that is tonight. Same paint, same technique. And just some of the white is just a little bit thin. Okay. Not a big deal. Easy to correct, but I am glad I'm catching that now versus later. Okay. I think that looks okay. All right. Now, let's go to 4. Now I have a tail on this, on the original. I think I'm still going to do the tail because it's just kind of part of this. Let's actually do 4.5. I went up. Okay. There. Go down a half a step into a 4. Get a drink. What I might do, I might not do the full like curvy tail that I did before. How about we just do 3 dots? Let's do that 3.5 now and leave it at that. I still think that looks nice. I'm just following this curve here. I think that looks just fine that way. Couple tiny things at the end. I'm gonna go into a 3.5. I think 3.5. Let's do a 4. And I'm going to do a crown. Ooh, got a lot of reflection. Hold on a sec. Oh, that's awful. I'm going to redo that one here in a second. This one should have been a little lower, but wow. That's like coming home in traffic at rush hour right about now, and you have that glare in your face and you can't see anything while you're driving. Clean that up. I don't have to get every little last piece of that off of there. I'm going to put another one right there anyways. Maybe I do. Okay, yeah. Let me touch that up. Now let's do these. And then I'm going to go in with either a 4.5 or a 5, and we'll get a top. And then see what happens when you get in a hurry. You're like almost done, almost done, almost done. Try that last one more time. And then I'm gonna say probably 5. I gotta take a step back and look at that here in a sec. All right, so finishing touches. Okay, I'm gonna take out my 0.5 again. Oh, hold on. Quick little touch up there and here. There. All right, 0.5 white. Now, I don't know if it's gonna dry in time. Now, like I was saying last time, I actually had some gems that I had put on, and in place of gems this time, I'm actually just going to use a nice bright silver. I'll put a tiny bit of that on my palette. Make sure I get a good size here. Yeah, it's probably good. That's a 4. Now again, let's make sure that I don't stick my hand in anything. It's not super visible. It does blend in with the white, but it's just to add like a little bit of a sparkle. You do notice it though. It doesn't look so flat, even if it's silver on white. And this is a thicker paint, so it is giving me a little bit of a dome, which I like. All right. And I'm also going to do that on these tips. Same size, 4, but I'm just going to walk them. Okay, let me go to a 2.5 and finish these ones. 1, 2, 3. Where else should we put some? Might be really nice on the gray in the middle here on these. Or actually here would probably be better. Let's go to a 2 real quick. Up to a 3. Last thing I want to do is put some on these, but they're not quite dry yet. If there's any other place that we think we want those. It's still wet. And I really don't want to mess that up. And I can tell it's still wet. This one has gloss medium in it, so it's a little shiny. You'll see, for example, these ones are very shiny. But these ones, I don't think you'll be able to tell that, but they still have a dome. And they're not flat and shiny like these ones that are dry. They're really raised. I don't know that I want any on that. Like I said, these ones might be okay. I'm just sort of hanging around for a minute and letting that dry. Just see if I can get those on there. Yeah, I might have to do that later, maybe even tomorrow. I just do not want to risk putting wet paint on wet paint. I will totally screw it up then. I'm going to take a look at the original. Yeah, you know what? I do have a dot on here. So I'm going to do that. 3. Now the original I had actually used gold. And although it didn't sound like a good combination, it did come out nice. But the silver is much more true to this monochrome feel. Okay. And I think I'm going to leave it like that and then just use these last ones. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and put a dot on those in a little bit. I'm not just going to hang here and wait. All right, make 100% sure that I'm not forgetting anything on there. All right, so what I'm going to do with this, there are lines on it. I'm just going to take an eraser. I've got a 4B eraser. Then I'm going to erase the lines off of that. Once that's done, I will give it another coat of the glaze. It is just a crystal clear glaze. I think that's the Krylon glaze on that one. And then that'll be it. I'll give that probably a good 2, possibly 3 quotes. Whew. And that'll be that. And that's another one done. All right. Like I said, I'm just going to go through, maybe make a couple more touch-ups. I see a few itty-bitty spots, but all right. Well, anyone that has stopped by, thank you ever so much for hanging out with me. I certainly do appreciate it. I don't know what the next couple of days is going to look like. I've got another video or two coming out in the next 2 days, and I'll probably be back with some additional live streams. I think my next project, I've got, actually, ironically enough, another monochrome or 2 tea light holders that I'm going to be making. Because those are going to be more or less replicates, I'm going to do several duplicate items just for the fair, just for the craft show. So I have, you know, several to sell. So instead of doing videos of those, I'll probably just do those live. So I certainly appreciate you guys hanging out. If you like what you see, drop a comment. Let me know what you thought. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. And I always do have a couple of different polls and things up on the community tab. So if you guys are hanging out, check that out too. All right. And I will see you guys next time. Again, I certainly appreciate it. You take care. Have a fantastic night. Bye-bye.